Hello YouTube, this is the Bucket coming at you today with the Girsan MC28SA. I picked up this firearm today and it is a budget pistol that I have a little bit of history with. So when this gun is currently imported by EAA, and when it was still being imported by Zenith, they had to get rid of their stock. And I picked up one of these MC28s when it still came in a red case. It had cool holes in the foam for you to put your hollow points in. When you were going to the gun range, it was kind of a cool little deal, and it was $179. It was a steal of a deal, and I ended up picking one up. And I'll tell you some fun stories about that particular firearm in a little bit. But I wanted to bring this one up because while the prices have gone up, the MSRP on this is $350. You see them for around $320 online right about now. That's about what you can get them for. This is a neat firearm. I really enjoy it. It's made in the Turkey, and we'll talk about that. But let's go ahead and get into this box real quick and see what you get. Now, with a budget firearm, one of the ways that they can get the price down is to make it a little less a little less stuff that you get. You get your manual. It tells you everything you need to know. You get a couple back straps. You know, it is what it is. You get a cleaning brush, and then you get a punch to punch out the pin that goes in here, which is actually a kind of a neat feature, because I'll be honest with you, I didn't own punches. I just for Father's Day this year, my wonderful baby buckets ended up getting me a punch set. So actually that's a nice little get. And then you get the firearm, one magazine, 15 round mag capacity, and of course a limited lifetime warranty. So I picked this up on a trade, and it is clear that this gun has never been fired before. And you could see how oily it is. They pack it, you know, kind of like a World War II rifle in Cosmoline. They really doll it up. And which is kind of funny, because when I bought my first MC28, I got it for $179. I got it from an online site that was, I, to be honest with you, I think they were just trying to get rid of them. And I picked it up, and my FFL did not open until 10 a.m. and we were going to be leaving town. And I picked it up on the way. And this was when I was a baby bucket, and I wasn't a gun guy fully. I loved guns, but I really didn't know all about the ins and outs of guns. And we went to the range, and it just didn't run well. And the UGD said, well, take her apart. And I did. And he goes, that gun is bone dry. I bet you anything that's why it's not running right. And I was like, oh, man, I didn't bring any oil or anything. And he goes, Mrs. UGD, run to the car. See if you got anything to lube this up with. And she literally came back with a tube of hand lotion, and we just glopped up the inside of the slide with the hand lotion, and this puppy ran like a champ. Didn't have any problems whatsoever. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, when I got home that night and had to clean all that goop off the inside of it, you know, I wouldn't suggest doing that as your new lubricant for your gun. So when I got this gun, and it's like dripping, like you can just see here at the barrel, there's literally oil running down the chamber of this firearm. It's kind of ironic that the first one was completely bone dry, and this thing's just dripping wet. This is a Palmer firearm. It comes, like I said, with a 15 round magazine. It's got a 4.25 inch barrel. I measured at its widest point. We're looking at about 1.25 inches. So it's not an overly concealable gun, but again, with a barrel that length, that's really not what you're purchasing. It comes in at an overall length of 7.6 inches and 25.6 ounces unloaded. So it's not a super light gun. It's not really designed for conceal and carry, but for home defense, this is a good gun. And again, with that long sight picture, you're going to end up with some really accurate shots. And with my first one, I ended up shooting this particularly well. So as we look this gun over, you have a Picatinny rail. They put these slide serrations on here. I don't know how functional they really are. I mean, if you really think about it, and I guess if you trained with it, I mean, those would be helpful. These slide serrations are much better. You got a 3-dot sight picture with a loaded chamber indicator, which really is a not quite accurate, because this is currently telling me that I have a loaded chamber, which I don't. And as you can see by the actual useful loaded chamber indicator, I really don't have anything in here. So that red thing's going to fall off in a little bit, and it's not going to be much of a use to anybody. But they put it on there, so it is what it is. The back straps, I have a lot of people tell me they love being able to change these out. I may actually try to change these out and try to see if, I get something different by messing with those a little bit. I have not spent a lot of time. Now, my VP9SK, which is my EDC, I really have tinkered with that a bunch. So if this becomes your gun of choice, then you may want to tinker with it. Trigger, you have some take up. You've got a dingus here, and then a fairly clean wall. And the website says it's got a 6.5 pound trigger pull. It feels about right. The trigger reset, it's a little long, and it's really not loud. So you may have some over travel in your trigger reset, but again, you can train with that. And again, if you're going with budget, that's something that you can give up on. I would say it's a fair trigger. It's not bad, and it's not anything that I'm gonna write home about. The mag release is not super easy to access or easy to depress. Again, not a major problem. My thought process has always been take yourself out of a place where you're going to need more than 15 rounds and become a good enough shot that 15 is going to be enough. So if you're really thinking about going to war with this firearm, you're going to need a little bit more training than maybe a VP9. So it is what it is. It does have a Picatinny rail, so you can hang a light on it if that's your thing. All in all, I've owned one of these before. It is a good firearm. I do like the fact that the takedown of this firearm is not the Glock style, it's the SIG style, because I do believe it is just a little bit of a better takedown method. You do have a captive recoil spring. It does feel like it's plastic. And then the barrel is pretty nice. Machined well, has a good wide ramp, has the cutout for the loaded chamber indicator. Again, it is greasy as a Kentucky Fried Chicken napkin after the buffet. So it did come through nice. I will, of course, take this through the bucket change-o-matic station of cleaning and get this oil off and get a reasonable amount of oil on this particular firearm. I might even take off this warranty. I have taken a gun with a sticker just like this and shot with that sticker on there, just because I wanted to keep it as original as possible. Downsides this particular firearm, the texture on it is real slick. And even the texture on the back straps they give you to switch it out, pretty slick. I have never bought Talon grips. If I'm going to keep this firearm as something that I keep around the house, that might be something that I actually think about doing. And then the single 15-round magazine, that's not ideal. But again, if you're thinking about buying a brand new firearm, this gun was made in Turkey. Some people say that that's a negative thing, and I'm not saying that I agree with the politics of the country, but I will tell you Girsans have always been a good firearm and have worked for me flawlessly. I've had a couple of Sarsamans, which is another Turkish company, and They have always worked for me perfectly fine, so I'm not concerned about the country of origin. I'm more concerned about the history that I've had with it. I do like the fact that you can hit that slide stop relatively easily. You can reach it. I think it's going to be good on the range. And all in all, great firearm. So we are going to get this to the range, and we're going to check her out and see how she runs. And I'm going to come back with you guys with a range review. If you like what you heard today, go ahead and hit that like button down below. I'd love to hear your comments. If you have any stories about Girsans or Sarsamans or any kind of budget pistol, I'd love to hear from it. Go ahead and hit subscribe if you like the information I'm bringing to you, and share with anybody that you think might take something away from these videos. And once again, you stay classy, YouTube.
I learned a lesson. Never half-ass two things. Whole-ass one thing.